Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Now you join me here on the River Wye, and what a glorious spot this is. This is a totally new stretch to me. I've never fished here before, and it's two banks of fish, and you can see the whole fishery in front of me right now. So I can fish either side, just jumping across this lovely old suspension bridge to get to the different banks. We've got a shallow, fast stretch below the bridge here, which I believe holds some chub. We're then into a kind of deeper mid-section there, which we can sort of see there in the middle, and at the bottom you'll see there's a couple of rapids with, I believe, some gullies and some holes to explore as well. The section's known for barbel and chub. There's a fisherman down here I can see already, so I might go have a little chat to him, see how he's getting on. But I'd say it's new to me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few prongs of attack really. First of all, I've done a bit of reading around online to read up about the section. I've spoken to a friend who's fished here before, and he's kind of given me some intel to go on. But I'm going to walk it. I'm going to have a little look. It's not very big. Walk this side, going to have a little look, see what swims look like down this side too before I've got my tackle. Then I'll make a bit of a plan and put that plan to action. What I'd like to do is a little bit of trotting today on the float. Probably targeting the chub mostly, but if we can get some barbel, that's fantastic. And then we'll also go on the feed as well on the bottom. So I want to try and find a nice swim or two for trotting. I've got a kingfisher just flying down the river underneath us. And then we'll get on the feeder as well. But let's go and have a little walk around and see what we can find. Alright guys, so I've had a bit of a wander around, scoped out a few swims, and I really like the look of this. There's a kind of like a deeper, quite a nice fast-paced glide here, and it goes off into the rapids further down. There's an angler opposite who's fishing on his side. We've had a bit of a chat. He's had 2 casts, caught 1 barbel, lost 1 barbel, so the barbel are feeding, which is good. But what I plan to do is to float fish and do some trotting down here. It's a lovely kind of nice paced glide. I can kind of wade out into the water, trot a float down, get some feed going and see if we can get some chub on the float. That's always fun. If I can kind of connect with the barbel, that'd be fantastic. And then perhaps off the back of that I'll do some feeder fishing in here as well. I've been putting bait in whilst I've been trotting, so that should hopefully kind of stimulate some fish, get some fish aggregated, and yeah, we'll see how we go. Conditions are looking really good. As I say, the guy opposite's already had a couple of barbel in 2 casts. I mean, it's been raining quite heavily overnight, but the river's not come up yet. And it's still, I would say, about 1.5 foot, maybe 2 foot visibility. So it's probably on the edge of being okay for trotting. I think it's good enough right now, but I think the river's going to be rising through the day and into tomorrow. So that can always stimulate fish. That can be quite good. But while it's clear enough and a good enough pace for trotting, I want to make the most of that. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go back to the car, get my stuff. We'll get in and see if we can get some fish. Right guys, I'm all set up. So I've got the 6 gram trotting float on, straight to Olivet. Put the float stops holding it down. Size 10 hook on the end. And as you'll see in the edit, I've just cubed up some meat. About 10mm cubes of meat. I'm going to feed pellet and hemp over the top of that, and see how we go. It's a lovely looking swim. I'm hoping for some chub, and if we get a barbel then all the better. And so I started trotting down this glorious section of the River Wye, watching the float intently, just following up with a few pellets. Just slowing it down, just easing it down the swim. And all of a sudden the float just went under. The fish felt pretty solid. At this point I think it feels like a chub. A Wye chub, you know, averaging 3-4 pounds, can fight really well. It's sort of slowly coming upstream. By now, a couple of minutes in, it's hugging the bottom and just kiting upstream, really finding it hard to lift up, and I think by now I've sort of realised that the chub has become a barbel. Not a monster, but yeah, little first glimpse there. I could see the colour of the fins, bronze back, there he is. And this really is where I made a bit of an error. I decided rather than walk back to the bank, I was going to try and hand it in. There we go. But yeah, it was
just too wide across the back. And there's one little last kick here. Bing, lost it.
Well, it's a good start. That was a barbel on what, the 5th, 6th chop through, something like that, about £3. I should have gone for the net. I'm sort of kicking myself there, but even so, it's brilliant to catch them on the float, just trotting through. I'll just keep the feed going in. Obviously the fish are there, so where there's one, hopefully there's more, we'll just keep going. And the next one, lesson learned, go for the net.
So back into the rhythm of things. Just following that cadence, cast, feed. Hold it back slightly. Keep watching that float intensely for when it eventually just dips under. There it goes, firm strike. Off again. And the river's rising fast today, and I'm trying to make the most of the trotting before it becomes unfishable. The fish can't see the bait. Despite just having lost that barbel, I can feel quite quickly this isn't a barbel. It's coming in much quicker, much easier. It's even kiting in a little bit rather than holding in the fast water like barbel do. So I'm fairly sure at this point it's a chub. But all fish are welcome. They're all fun, particularly on the float. Light tackle like this. You're fishing with a feeder, you've got all the weight of the feeder crashing around. With a float, you really feel everything, right down to the fish. And there we go. Still going to hand, haven't learned my lesson.
There we go, lovely. What's that? £1.5? Off you go, mate.
So time for another cast. Straight out, halfway across. And this time, there you go, at the top of the swim this time. Float went under very quickly. Really just below where I've been feeding. Quickly could realise this is not a barbel, it's another chub. All welcome. Slightly smaller stamp than usual for the Y, but again, good fun on the float. Lovely.
Right, so I've been fishing now for, I guess, about 2 hours. Maybe an hour and a half, something like that. And I've had, what, 4 or 5 chub and that one barbel that I lost at the hand there at the beginning. Been feeding regularly, sort of experimenting where to go, and haven't really kind of got the fish turned on yet, so I guess I've got a few choices to make. One is to kind of just keep going as I am, plug away at it and hope the fish will kind of come to the feed. Second is move swim, you know, go and find something else. We could do some feeder fishing, we could feeder fish in here, feeder fish in another swim further down, so find some deeper holes. Now I've also got some thread with me as well, so if I want to kind of target chub, it is, so the water's maybe 2 foot visibility, so it's a little bit cloudy for trotting. The fish maybe are struggling to see the bait, so I could put some kind of bread flake on and trot that through for the chub. So yeah, what would you do? Let me know in the comments. Would you stay here, keep going? Would you put bread flake on? Would you try the feeder, move swim? Yeah, I'll have a little think and see what you think as well. Right, so I decided to move swims. Yeah, the river's just started to rise a little bit, having had all that rain overnight, and it's actually raining a little bit now, so that can be really good conditions for barbel. So I just thought I'll go all in on barbel. I got plenty of bait. There's a swim now about 100 yards below where I was trotting, something like that, and there's fast rapids coming into a kind of a slightly deeper gully where 2 currents are meeting, so there's quite a nice crease out there. I've actually got quite fast water down by my feet as well. You see the bubble line just about a rod length out there, something like that. So I thought I'd come and have a go for barbel. I've set up my feeder gear, schlepped all the gear down here. That's how the first cast, and we'll see if the gamble paid off. If it doesn't work, I can always try trotting again up there. I've still got the rod set up. I'll just jump back up into that swim, give it another go before I leave. But right now I'm all in on the feeder and the barbel, and we'll see if this gamble pays off. Right, let's give it a go. Gentle. see what happens. Ooh, oh, wow, 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 wow. I'm not sure you've seen that, but I was just watching a bird going over, and as I was looking at it, trying to figure out what it was, I've realised it's a Peregrine Falcon. And as I realised what it was, it went into a steep, fast dive. Really deep. It must have seen, I mean, it's a big bird, so I'm guessing it was a female, and it would have seen a pigeon or something, which is about the size of bird they go for as prey, below it, and it came down super fast. Poof, pummel down. And you know, I mean, peregrines are the fastest species on the planet, so when they go into a dive, they are faster than anything else that has evolved and is alive today. So, and you do see them in the Wye, and really they are expanding across the UK now as well. So almost every little quarry has a pair of peregrines in nowadays, or a good cliff face, or a big cathedral church in our big cities as well. They're becoming a more common sight in the UK. And what a spectacular, spectacular bird to be seeing as well. Amazing. Right, let's get back to the fishing. Well, I've given it an hour in this swim, and a couple of little taps, but nothing significant really. Nothing that's given me confidence there's fish here, or the rod's going to go over, and the clock's ticking really for today. So the twist didn't pay off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to my original swim. Sometimes resting a swim like that can be quite good for trotting. Actually, you can do quite well, you know, when you get back in and start trotting through again. So I'll do that, give it a go for a while, and then if I feel like I want to change things up again, I've got the feeder rod set up. I'll go into the feeder on that swim. So I think I'll probably go and stick on that swim up there now, but it's worth a try. If you don't try, you don't find out. So yeah, let's wind in and we'll go back up to that one, I think. Right, well, as it starts to rain again, I'm back in the original swim, and as you can see, I've got the feeder out now. So I say, with the cloudiness of the water, or the colouring that's coming into it with the overnight rain, I think it's time just to sit on the static bait really. And to be honest, I've been stood up for hours and roaming up and down. It's quite nice to sit down for a little bit. And just before I cast the feeder out, I did put 5 or 6 bait droppers in of the hemp and the pellet mix that I was feeding when I was float fishing. So just trying to kind of focus a little bit of bait into the swim and yeah, attract some fish across. Also just using up the bait, to be honest, I've got left over. It's the end of my little fishing trip, this one, so there's no point taking that bait back with me. It's not going to keep, so I'm going to put it in.
It's just starting to rain again. It's been raining so much overnight. This river's risen by maybe a foot and started colouring up. Just watch that rod tip. There it goes, bang, 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 off it goes. If I wasn't sat next to that rod, I think it would have gone in. Take a little bit of pressure off before I could do some back winding or let the drag kick in. Luckily I got my waders on, I jumped out into the river. That worked fine. And this is what we come to the Wye for. This is a lovely fight here. Holding the bottom like a brick, you know. So I've said it before, you know, so many fish fight in different ways, but barbel, they just hug the bottom. They're designed to hold in the fast flow and often stay in the fastest water too. They're a fantastic species. Just starting to get a bit of a view of it here. Trying to get that net, but you'll see I've got the wrong landing net really. My other landing net broke the previous day, so I've got quite a wangy pole. And a small net at the end there, but hopefully it'll do. It's a better view. Go on, get in. Ah, it's tense moments. Go on. Yes.
Right. Well, this is what we came for. I'm not going to weigh it, but as you'll have seen from the bite, gave an absolute fantastic bite. It's probably, I'm guessing, about £5. Mint condition barbel. Look at the orange on the pelvic fins there. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely. Cracking fish. Right, we'll get him back and hopefully see if there's any others at home. There we go. Plenty of vitamin. Right, well, we're back where we started. The rain's coming down, things have gone really quiet as well, and it's time for me to kind of make the long journey home. So that's it for another fishing trip and another video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I had a really great day. It's been a day of change, really. The river kind of started off at a kind of fairly healthy level, good visibility for trotting. We did some trotting, had that barbel at the beginning, £3, which I lost as I was trying to sort of pick it up. I should have had the net, shouldn't I? Kicking myself. Did I catch that fish? I don't know. Does that count? Let me know in the comments. If you manage to sort of touch the fish and then it unhooks itself, is that a catch or not? Probably not. I'd love to hear your comments on that one. Yeah, we've caught a bunch of small chub as well, and it's topped off by that kind of £5-ish barbel at the end there on the feeder. As the kind of day's gone on, the river's got more and more kind of chocolatey. It really is kind of dairy milk right now down there. So, you know, trotting really kind of slowly kind of ebbed out, and the bites also dried up through the day, kind of, you know, in line with that. If the fish can't see the bait kind of going through the swim, you know, under a float, you're not going to catch anything. So it's time to kind of flick to the feeder. I'm glad I did. You know, we caught that barbel, so it's been really fun. And as always, I kind of learned a few lessons along the way. If you're going out fishing yourselves, good luck, tight lines. I hope you catch lots of fish, but most of all, I hope you enjoy yourselves. Do keep your eyes open for wildlife. And do give me a like, a subscribe and a comment. You know, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by Christmas. I think I'm on 315 today, so do hit subscribe if you like this video. I've got more that are already on the channel and more planned to come. So all the best, and I'll see you in the next video.